We are on our evening broadcast, and we are looking at the signs of the Savior coming in the Old Testament. We have started with the book of Genesis, and this is the third talk in this line. So I am going to now look at Genesis chapter 5. This is the book of the generations of Adam. The Hebrew word for generations is toledoth. Before that also you have this word generation in Genesis chapter 2. Also has the chapter 2 verse 4. This is the account of the generations. So God is a God of generations, and it is important for him that his what he has designed passes from generation to generation, family, sexuality. And today at noontime I did a very important message on the triangle that is working to distort and destroy God's design in mankind. That is my clip number 135 in the Science and Reason series. Please have a look at it. But now we are concentrating on God's signs in the Old Testament about the Messiah coming, so the generations. So he created them male and female, no one can change that, and he blessed them and named them man in the day when they were created. So Adam he has the connotation earth and has the connotation man in the day when they were created. When Adam had lived 130 years, he became the father of a son in his own likeness, according to his image, and named him Seth. So we know when God created Adam, he was created in God's likeness. God said in our image and in our likeness. So this says in Adam produced the son in his own likeness according to his image. That's where the sin nature comes in. But we know Adam was designed with God's likeness and God's image. That is also being passed through, plus Adam's nature is also getting passed through. Some call it the original sin. In sin did my mother conceive me, when David said it was original sin plus whatever else that went on into that conception. Created in his own likeness. So what is this likeness and what is this image? So when a husband and wife come together, and husband gives the sperm, one cell, wife gives the sperm, the ovum, the other cell, they come together and forms a zygote, and it is a genome that has never been. It is unique. So when the body is forming, already it's a new person in the eyes of God. So abortion from day one is murder. Abortion from day one is murder. So there are methods of contraception that causes the fertilized ovum to dislocate, which Christians should not adopt. So when the little body is forming, God sends the spirit of that child, created in his image with all the Godscope and all what God has, into this little body that is forming. So the little body will form, that's the body. God sends his image, and in his image and likeness, the spirit of man. And then when the spirit of man interacts, what came from God interacts with father background, mother background, father genome, mother genome, now they will even say epigenetics, and the iniquity of 3-4 generations, all working together produces the soul. So soul is also a creation of God, but it gets all the transgression, iniquity that parents carry. So there is the spirit, soul, and the body. So when the child is growing, even in the mother's womb, the child begins to perceive the spirit, and the child has spiritual understanding, because the troubles of the home, the child in the womb picks up. So even when we were in medical faculty, there was a thing called the maternal deprivation syndrome. If the mother is feeling lack, child begins to feel lack, and in fact his growth suffers. And if there's constant fights between the parents, when time for labor comes after 40 weeks for the child to come out, child will not come out. The mother will have obstructed labor. The child is so sensitive when the child is in the womb. So when the mother is sleeping, if you wake up because the child is kicking, then you know that child is in distress, because normally the child will never kick while the mother is sleeping. Kick hard enough to wake up the mother, that means it's a sign of medical distress. You need to consult a doctor. Why I said this is how much the little child in the womb is close to the mother, and so we always advise the mother, even if you are a mother who's working, every 2 hours speak to the child, sing to the child, pray for the child, prophesy over the child. We have a great book called the Blessing Book. We have a complete book in Sinhala called Ashirvade for the child in the womb, and we have 20 of those blessings in the English language. And if you want to have it, you have to send a WhatsApp to +94 77 49 59 214. So you can read it over your child to be born. That is so important. So when the child is now growing up, pops out and grows up, more bonding the mother had in the womb, more bonding the mother has with the early child becomes brain brilliant. That's why some people say, according to the mother's brain, the child becomes brilliant. It is actually according to the mother's attention, child becomes brilliant. And if you don't give the child attention when the child is being born, then the child gets inattention. That's how you get inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity, which is called ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, according to what the child went through in the womb, or what the child went through soon after child was born. More bonding, the better it is. So 6 months pregnancy leave would be excellent, 9 months would be superb. So that's how it is. Some countries like Germany give father also a full year of leave when a child is born. So imagine the conflict when the mother does not know the father, or mother disowns, attempts abortion. What a lot of trauma goes into the little child. So this is in the image the child came. And now if the parents know to raise up the child in the spirit, you can raise up the child in the spirit with spiritual understanding from young days. If not, child gets into the competition of the soul, survival of the fittest, the struggle for existence, might is right, perform or perish, swim or sink. Now all that the child begins to pick up from the parents' language. Not that you said it, but the way you handle it, paheshi shatve, and the stress of it and all that will have an effect on the child. So when Adam had lived 100, his own likeness according to his image, and named him son. Then the day of Adam, after he became father of and Adam's length of days. Now if you are wondering about this long length of days of the year, 900 years, other ancient records also assign long years to these people who were before the flood of Noah. Long years were assigned. So this is not only the Bible, other ancient records also have long years assigned to people who lived before the flood. So don't think Bible is just myth, it is fact. So you need to read my book on love, life and light. The first 10 chapters of the book of Genesis, I have put it into daily thoughts, 40 of them for dad to read with kids. Of course, dad and mom to read with kids at the 7 o'clock family hour. That's our recommendation. Please, I have a whole series of books. The first one on Genesis. You can go to our website and have a look at it, www.apeksha-lanka.com. I will put it up. It's up on my timeline. Or else you can go to Sarasavir Bookshop and get my book series. The second one is Wonder and Wisdom, which the app also has. Bookshop has some of my books, but Sarasavir definitely has. So first one is the Genesis book, second one is Wonder and Wisdom, third one is 50 snapshots from the life of David. That is excellent for 12-year-olds, for dad to interact, and really you will be coaching and mentoring your son. You absolutely need to coach and mentor the son. You can't leave it to outsiders. If you don't lead your son and daughter early, peers and the digital screen will lead them in the wrong direction. You have to put leadership early into the child's life. So I have always said that you must every meal time use it for a happy time, good coaching time, good advice, good manners, because all manners lifelong are bred in before the age of 5. That's it. And before the age of 3, please never give the digital screen for any activity. That is medical advice, yes. So we are looking at this, the bonding in the mother's womb. So when the child becomes 10, child begins to have spiritual thoughts, and you can lead the child to know Christ. It is important for them to recognize the Good Shepherd. We are created as sheep who will hear the voice of the Good Shepherd and who will follow the Good Shepherd. That's man's nature. So your child seeks to follow you. You must be available. If you don't have time, it's a sad thing. Dad, coaching is best done in fun activity. Meal time, for play time, so at least 2 to 3 times a week you must be at home before the sun sets. I have told this before, if while the sun is setting you do some very empathic, fun time, jolly time, loving time activities, gardening, cricket, whatever, those moments children remember forever, because the sunset time with melatonin beginning to act is a very sensitive time. That's the time to be close to your kids. They will always remember. Being absent regularly at that time from their life, you lose the best opportunity to mentor them. Then of course I have told you, 9 o'clock going to sleep is also a very good time when GABA is active in the brain to get into the child's life. So when they are 10, 12, they can come to know Christ. So as for you also, so the Good Shepherd follows you, and we do our own my way is highway, but he follows us. And when we have a dip, somehow his hands picks us up. So that's the dip one. This is how the Good Shepherd follows us. Then sometimes we hit rock bottom in a dark night of the soul, but there also, hand of God is there, he picks you up. Now he says, let me offer the best scope I always had for you, the Godscope. So that's the shape of the cross that I said. You, in your downs he's there, in your journey he's there, even if you didn't know, didn't like, he still doesn't abandon. And then the upward, the best is when you receive him into your life, and he can lead you to the Godscope that was always waiting to happen for God to work on it. So this is the story of the godly line of Seth. And then you will find while Seth grew as a godly line and people called upon the name of the Lord with the birth of Seth, and there was another line, the line of Cain, that became the anti-God line. And tomorrow when we do Genesis chapter 6, we will see how the two run to their decreed end. Then we come to Lamech in 528. Lamech lived 182 years and became the father of a son. Now he called his name Noah. So Noah in the Hebrew means this one will give us rest from our work, from our sin, and from our iniquities. This one will give us rest from our work. So Noah is a sign of the Messiah to come. You will remember the Lord said in Matthew 11:28, come unto me that are weary and heavy laden, I will give you rest. So Seth names means called upon the Lord, or getting in touch with God. That is we find it in Genesis 4:25. Adam had relations with his wife again, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth, for she said, God has appointed me. So this appointment is the appointment of having another child. It was an appointment with God. God has appointed me another offspring in place of Abel. So this appointment mankind was to have with the Savior is what Seth signifies as a sign. Appointed. You are not jetsam flotsam, you are appointed with a destiny. You are born into this world, and eventually there would be a son coming, appointed one. You understand that appointed one, you know, that's a messianic line, appointed one. To Seth, to him also a son was born. He called his name Enosh. Then men began to call upon the name of the Lord. Enosh means call. So both appointment and the call are found in those two names. Strange, isn't it? Signs in the Old Testament names. But now we are looking at Lamech, verse 30, Genesis 5 verse 30. Lamech lived 595 years, and after he became the father of Noah. Here are the sons and daughters. So God said, when Noah was born, God said, name him Noah. Now he called his name Noah. This one will give us rest from our work. So in fact Lamech is prophesying from the toil of our hands, arising from the ground which the Lord had cursed. So Noah becomes the a sign of the rest to come. And then you remember the dove, it has the connotation of the rest of a dove, the roosting, the wandering stops, roaming stops. All that is in the name of Noah. That's what the Savior will also do for us. The wandering, the forsakenness will stop. You will remember Cain's protest. I will be a vagabond. I will be hidden. I'll be a vagrant, wanderer. Genesis 4:13, 14 was the protestation of Cain. In spite of having killed his brother, God didn't kill him. But so the natural man is into protest. But here is Seth's line, bringing rest. When Noah's time came, the flood came when the line of godly line merged with the ungodly line, and there was no difference. So when Jesus Christ said, when my second coming is near, it would be like the times of Noah, but the sign that the godly would be just like the ungodly. You take care about that. A time will come when godly will agree with abortion, godly will agree with LGBTQ, godly will agree with foul language. So the digital screen helps in all this. So please please listen to my clip number 135, available on my timeline, and also on the Empathic Learning Center. Please read it to understand the times, how the two lines, godly and ungodly, become just the same, and then it is time for God's judgment. Yes. So Noah was a sign of the rest that comes before judgment, and we hold on to that. And about the signs involved in Noah and the ark, we will do it tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Monday. Yes. Thank you for listening. God bless you.